Well, hello retro computing enthusiasts, electronics nerds, folks of all sorts from YouTube. Welcome back to my channel, Mike here, and welcome to the inside of my NABU computer, my heavily modified NABU computer, which is about to become more heavily modified in the future. As you can see, I've got the EEPROM up in an 0 insertion 4 socket. I've got some jumper wires in here. I've talked about all this stuff in previous videos. I'll put a link in the upper right up there to the playlist for my NABU computer and the modifications I've made so far. It's running my own custom firmware. I have bank switching for the EEPROM in here, and I've got 32K of EEPROM over here that I can switch in and out in 8K banks. But what I really want to show you today is my new prototyping card that I made for the NABU. So this is where things are really going to get interesting, because I've come up with a way to build cards that can plug into the expansion port connectors back there. And it's pretty simple, easy to do. And I will pull the card out and show it to you. But first, let me give you a look at it from the other side. It's a prototyping board. Kind of hard to see while it's in the computer, but it has power buses and lines of tie points on there, just like a breadboard or a prototyping board. But I will pull it out and we'll take a look at it, and I'll talk about how I built it. Okay? So here's the card out of the computer, and you can see the buses and the lines of tie points on the back a little easier now. So how did I make this? Well, I started off with one of these prototyping boards, and I'll put links to all this stuff in the video description if you're interested in emulating what I'm doing here. So one of these prototyping boards here, cut it down so it fits in the NABU. I actually made the cut for over the RF modulator a little taller than it needed to be. It didn't have to be quite this tall, but well, that's okay. You live and learn. The second one will be perfect, but the first one I think is going to work just fine. It's just got a little bit more of the board cut out than necessary. And then I soldered in some of these right angle female headers right here. These each have 6 pins on them, and since the NABU brings out 30 pins on its expansion ports connectors, you need 5 of these. So 5 of these soldered in side by side will connect to all 30 of the signals you get out of the NABU, signals and power you get out of the NABU for the expansion cards. Why only 30, you're thinking to yourself? There should be a lot more than that, probably. Well, NABU doesn't bring out all of the address lines. I'll give you a quick look at the pinout for the ports. So that's why there's only 30 of them. But you can do a lot with those 30 lines you get. Now, this didn't all come together all that easily. I had a few issues. These right angle headers, for some reason, the spacing on them isn't perfect. They're actually, you can see how the legs are a little wider right there, where they come together. See that? So after you get 2 or 3 of them in here, they just don't want to line up anymore. So I had to take these out and sand them a little bit on a belt sander on the edges where they come together, and that made them fit a lot better. You can actually see probably a little bit of the sanding that went on there, a little bit of evidence of it. But then once I sanded them a little skinnier, they line up really nicely. Solder them in place, and you're good to go. So I'm going to put a link to these headers, because basically they're some of the only ones I found that look like they were going to work. But if you find better ones, let me know, because these need a little sanding to work. And for some reason the solder doesn't wet the legs very well, even though they appear to be gold plated. I don't know. But I got them all soldered in anyway. So what am I going to build on this expansion board for my NABU? Well, you're just going to have to stay tuned and find out in the future. There's going to be some interesting stuff going on with the NABU, I think. And some of the other videos coming down the pike on my channel might give you some hints where I'm going with this, because I'm working on basically 3 different Z80-based projects, or Z80, however you want to say it. I have the NABU, I have the Jazz 80 retro breadboard computer I've been developing, and I have an S100 system with a Z80 card in it. So stuff I develop for one computer eventually winds up in the others, and vice versa. Stuff I might develop for the NABU might wind up in the S100. Stuff I develop for the S100 might wind up in the Jazz 80. What's developed in the Jazz 80 might wind up in the NABU. So watch the other videos on my channel to see what might be coming to in the future. Although I will give you one hint, okay? I'm not happy with the current bank switching situation I have in the NABU. It works, but it has some quirks. That will probably get sorted out on this board too, but that's only going to take one little IC to do that. So, maybe 2 ICs. So, yeah, that leaves lots of room for other stuff. So, like I said, stay tuned for future developments. All right. So, if you found this video at all interesting, educational, informative, inspirational, whatever, please give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to see my future videos. There'll be more videos about the NABU and other classic retro computers and electronics in general coming to this channel soon. So I'll see you in those future videos. Thanks a lot for watching this one. Bye.